I research medieval scientific manuscripts from Persian and Arab, and also the European scientific manuscripts up to 17th century in my work. My name is Pantea Karimi. I'm an Iranian-American artist and educator living and working in the San Francisco Bay Area in California. Using the Chester Beatty's collection, specifically medieval Iran, I have designed 6 workshops for teens in Dublin.
I came to the workshop to see what it would be about, to learn new stuff and to have fun.
It's like a way for us to hang out outside of school, and I guess it's more for fun. I get to hang out with my friends, and I also get to meet new people, and I also just kind of learn kind of random cool things that I wouldn't really learn at home, or you'd find randomly on the internet.
The one that stood out the most was probably the anatomy stuff, and I know it was kind of almost more visually interesting than some of the other stuff, even though the visuals were quite striking.
Something wonderful happens if an artist comes into a museum, which is that they look at objects in a slightly different way and they're looking for a creative spark. And that applies to museums where there's fairly intellectual content, such as the material we've got out. So an artist looks at material, looks at a painting, looks at a book, and thinks about the people who wrote, who copied out the book, who illustrated it, who ruled the lines around the pages. They see the product. And I think you need to be a maker to notice all of these details.
This collaboration between the Chester Beatty and the Maker is a result of 2 European funded projects that the Chester Beatty's been involved in. That's the Creative and the Making Museums over the period of 2014 to 2019. The projects are all about looking at how traditionally closed spaces, such as museums, can open up and start creative collaborations with the likes of the maker community. And the makers are everywhere. It's a global phenomenon.
Just to be able to see these manuscripts in person, see the ink, see the surface of these pages, and how the illustrations were created was very, very special to me.
In a museum, get to know the background to what you're making beforehand. I remembered in Marginalia, in the manuscripts that we were doing, I thought it was really cool how different people could give their own opinions in books, so other people can read them as well. And I found their opinions really interesting.
I guess the first lesson that we had with her, she was talking about how they're laid out and stuff, and the marginalia. I don't know why, I just really remember that word. It really stood out to me, and I've just kind of thought about it, and every time I look at books, I'm kind of oh, there's the marginalia.
We have an amazing, amazing Persian collection here. It's enormous. It's a wonderful history of the art of Iran.
These manuscripts have a lot of illustrations and diagrams, and these diagrams and illustrations during the medieval time helped to transmit knowledge faster, and it made science more tangible for people.
There's something super valuable, I think, about the idea that you can't do anything new if you don't know what's come before. So doing these workshops has been a great example of how you can take a look at the past and use that as a way to move forward and to create new things, and as a fantastic starting point for new creativity and to make it contemporary and fresh and dynamic and exciting.
My project with the Chester Beatty is one of a very good example of how a museum and an artist can work together, collaborate, and create a more educational program that not only highlight the museum's archive, but also it highlights science, history, and art as a tool for students to learn and to explore historical context.
What I would love people to take away is to feel that they've looked at how these diagrams visualize information, and to think about what a diagram or a map really is, and it's a way of organising nature or understanding the world or understanding the human body. And I think if kids come away having thought about that and having engaged with it a little bit on a creative side with a bit of imagination, I hope that that stays with them.
During this collaboration, I realized how important it is to use art and not only as a creative and imaginative kind of tool, but also as an idea that can help students to understand other subjects. And this is what basically I've been trying to create throughout my workshop.